Let's take a look at some of the actions concerning the Tessera touchscreen in Mosaic Designer. There will be a later video in this series that will specifically handle programming the Tessera. I just want to give you an overview of each of the functions in this video. Let's start with set MTPC control value. This action allows you to set the current state of a value. So for instance, if I want to set a slider to 50%, I can use this action to do that. The first thing you're going to do is select your control. If you've already defined your interface, you can press Tab and see a list of all of the keys. Scroll down until you find the one you want, for instance, slider 10, then choose an index. Sliders only have one index, their up or down position. Things like color pickers have multiple index, one for red, one for green, one for blue. If I select this slider, I'm going to leave this index at 1. I can then choose a value, for instance, 50%. Both of these index and value parameters can also be sourced from variables. At the bottom here, we have a very important checkbox. This checkbox is Execute Change Triggers. What this does, if selected, is actually run the action corresponded with the slider. So when I set this to 50%, this checkbox allows me to actually trigger the I'm at 50% action for the slider, just like going over to the touchscreen and changing the slider. If this is not selected, it will update the state, but not actually make any changes. The next action we'll look at is the TPC Set Control State. Again, you have the ability to select a control. You can press Tab for suggestions. More often than not, you'll be working with buttons inside of Set TPC Control State. Once you select a button, you then have the option to set it into a particular state. The first option is to set it back to the default as configured inside of the interface editor. If you'd like to set it to something besides the default, select the state field and press Tab. You then have all of the different options that are inside of the theme for this particular object. So for instance, if I want to set my button to be green, I can scroll, find green, and select it. The next action we'll take a look at is Set TPC Control Caption. When you come over here, we have our option for control again. Hit Tab, choose an object, and then you have the ability to set its caption, either from a variable or from text. So if I want to update the name of my button, I can use this action for that. I type in a piece of text such as active. And now, when this action is run, my button's name will change. The last set command is set MTPC page. When you come over here, you have the option to set a page. This will force the Tessera to change to that particular page based off of number. You can give it a fixed number, or this can be fed from a variable. The entire user interface of an MTPC can be enabled or disabled using the Disable MTPC option. You select which controller you want, and then which action, either to disable or enable the device. Set Screen Brightness allows the brightness of the backlight of the MTPC to be set. You select which controller, and then choose a level from 0 to 100%. The brightness of the MTPC screen can also be automatically configured in response to changes in the ambient light. For more information on this, take a look at the controller properties of the Tessera. Finally, if security has been set up on an MTPC, you can use the Lock MTPC action. Select which controller you'd like, then select Lock or Unlock. Once a controller is locked, the user must enter the correct code on the keypad in order to unlock the TPC, or an unlock action must be triggered.